So today's show, we're sitting down with the newly opened Volt Coffee and its owner, Logan.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody to the show. So tell me a little bit about how you came to open a coffee shop, because you started somewhere else first.
Yeah, definitely. So I have just always really loved coffee. I love drinking coffee my entire life. I can remember just being like a coffee fanatic. But it kind of snowballed into a little bit bigger of a thing when I was in college. I had my very first like handcrafted pour over coffee. It was in a Chemex after one of my classes, and it was just like changed the game.
Yeah.
I realized like black coffee could be good.
Yeah.
Right, because you think it's just like regular dirty bean water.
Right.
And then once you like go somewhere specifically that is tailored to make it not that way, it changed everything for me. So then it became like a really expensive hobby. So I was just like always getting new coffee gear and getting new grinders and getting new brewing methods, and it just kind of snowballed into something really incredible. And I had a couple of people that knew I liked coffee a lot reach out and say, you know, have you ever thought about doing a coffee shop? And you know, I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew it was definitely something that I wanted to do. I love the community space of coffee shops.
Yeah.
It seems to be kind of like
it's better than bars.
Yeah, it's like a daytime hub, right? Like for nighttime you have bars and breweries and all that kind of cool things, but without going somewhere to get a full meal, there's not like a lot of places to do in the daytime.
Exactly.
And I can remember most of the incredible conversations I've had with people have been centered around coffee or centered around a drink at a coffee shop, because I'm big on conversation and being able to talk through things with people. I think that we just leave so much stuff up to interpretation, and I would rather iron it out.
Yeah.
And so like, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee and we can talk and get to the bottom of, you know, whatever it is. So I had some people like reach out to me about it, and I had some friends who had actually started coffee shops before that I kind of bounced ideas off of. A buddy of mine, he started an Offbeat Coffee Studio in Huntsville.
Okay.
I lived in Huntsville for a while, and they have a great coffee scene up there now.
They do.
So I asked him about it. This was coming out of 2020. And so right at the beginning of 2021, end of 2020, and they had opened their coffee shop, and it was doing really well, and the pandemic kind of hurt everybody. And he was like, man, if I were to do this all over again, I would start roasting coffee first.
Really?
Learn how to roast coffee, then you can kind of control a lot more of your business than the typical coffee shop.
Supply chain.
Right. You can choose coffees that you like. You can set your own prices for, because every bean that I buy is different. So whether it comes from Honduras or Guatemala or Costa Rica, the price point is different because we pay the farmers a fair wage. We don't pay commodity.
Right.
Commodity is the absolute lowest that you have to pay somebody for something. We pay 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 times over commodity.
Just to get the best beans.
Yeah. It gives them an incentive to grow really good coffee, and also to live, to make a wage that's livable, that they can have a family with. And he was like, I would do that. I would roast. And then if COVID were to happen, you could do e-commerce stuff even after that. So beginning of 2021, we started Volt, and we just had a Shopify brand.
Nice.
And really I would say, I started learning how to roast in January. And then I don't think we opened our store online until July.
Really?
Of that year. And then
feels like forever ago.
I know, yeah. This is going on 2 years. We've been open for 2 years coming up, and probably the next 3 weeks. But yeah, we did a couple of events at the end of 2021, and it was awesome. And that was the first kind of experience that I had with selling what I had been roasting.
Right.
Outside of just selling, the bags of it.
Right.
So then it just kind of snowballed, and in 2022 we were approached by the Piermans who built our building, if we wanted to occupy one of the spaces there, if they were going to do, and they pretty much just told us like, hey, let us know what you need, we'll build it to suit. A drive-through was a huge thing for us.
Because there's only one other one in the county that's locally owned.
Right. So we wanted the drive-through. They said they could do it. We wanted all the space. They said they could do it. It just, all the doors opened in the right way, and I think we really hit something really cool. And then it was just kind of a race to get where we are right now. We've been soft open for almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we're still super new and still super
Paint's still fresh.
Yeah, paint's still fresh. I'm still like seeing things that we need to add and take away, but that's
You always will.
Right.
It's like a project car. It's never done.
Right.
It's never done. But
yeah, you can look anywhere and see something you want to change. But like I tell people that come in, they're like, "Oh, the place is nice." I'm like, it's about 80% done, right?
Yeah.
It's a shell, right? Where we've got the majority of what we want to do. We've kind of ironed out the majority of our menu. But we still want to add some really cool things. We got a back patio space that we're going to fence in. We'll have, a awning for shade and lights out there. It's going to be a really cool space. I would say probably in the next 6 months, it'll probably look a lot different than it does right now, which I'm stoked for.
Because you said the culture really starts with the space itself.
Yeah.
It's almost that the coffee is secondary. You want to be the meeting place.
Yeah.
And then we'll provide the conduit, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's a destination, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it weren't for the coffee, I think that we could still have a space for people to meet, but then they're just meeting. Then it's a library. It's just something. Pretty much. It's something boring. So we do the coffee because we provide something for anyone. I mean, we have baked goods, we have coffee, we have tea, we have some kombucha, right? We have
the harvest root stuff.
Yeah.
In one of my earlier videos, I talked about the harvest roots coming out of Birmingham.
Yeah.
I didn't know they started in Mentone.
Oh, really?
So they started in Mentone. They're a North Alabama thing, and then when they expanded, it's still small batch kombucha. It's better than the stuff you get in the grocery store.
Right.
They add flavors to it. Like you can get the raw kombucha in a grocery store, but with Harvest, you get those. They use citron hops in some of them.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit more of that exotic flavor to it. Okay. But they started in Mentone.
Yeah, they were super quick to respond. I sent a message. Somebody told me about them. I sent a message to them, and they were out the next day with samples out here while we were doing some employee training. Mm-hmm. And I like kombucha. I'm not like a aficionado by any means, but I've had some good kombucha in the past. And even then, I was like, wow, like this is different. And I think he said that they ferment theirs for 10 to 14 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is a lot longer than the typical kombucha like fermentation process.
Yeah, it's typically get it as short. A little bit of disclosure, I've actually started making a batch. So I have a SCOBY chilling in a jar at home.
Wow, that's cool.
You got to keep it dark. You got to keep it cool. But in terms of growing that thing, that first batch, the process is you get the SCOBY going, then you transfer it into something else, then you transfer it into something else.
Right.
But it's kind of like good bread yeast, that you've got that starter culture that you work with. That's what the SCOBY is to kombucha.
Yeah.
But at its essence, it's really black tea. And then at the later stages when you do the brew, that's when you can go in and add the flavors. So you can accentuate that. So you get that tea flavor coming through. And because it is fermented, you get some of the health benefits. It's kind of like apple cider vinegar that you would actually want to drink.
Yeah.
But you can get those other flavors in there and kind of play with it a little bit. So just because I enjoy drinking it, I thought, that was another one of those little hobbies I picked up. Like I need another one, but
and that's kind of what the coffee thing is for us. It's a hobby that I don't know. I wanted to bring it to the area. I feel like Gadsden needs something that's local. I love the businesses that are coming here, and I think what's awesome is we have like an incredible local scene of entrepreneurs and business owners.
Yes,
you look at most of the restaurants that are locally owned, Hector's Kitchen, Cape Side, Harp and Clover,
Burger 101,
dude, all of these places are phenomenal. Like,
and they're locally based.
Yeah, I ask people in Anniston, like, where do you guys go to eat out here? And they're like, we come to Gadsden. Like, it's just crazy.
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple of good places out there, but everywhere that they typically tell me that they like to go is out here. So,
well, most of the stuff down there is chain. I mean, you got a few individual restaurants, but Anniston changed over the years. When I was a kid, we drove to Anniston for stuff. Yeah. When they built the Oxford Exchange, then we go down there because there's a Longhorn, there's a Olive Garden, all that kind of stuff.
I remember dropping out there for Sonny's barbecue.
Yeah,
Sonny's barbecue and my parents. Yeah, that's so funny.
Some fond memories out there. But it's almost been a shift where everybody's coming back up here now, because Gadsden really does have a well-developed restaurant scene, and traditionally it's always been that way. People have come from like Aniana, from Leesburg Center. Yeah. If you wanted to eat somewhere nice, you came into Gadsden. So you've got that crowd there. Restaurants here are a tricky crowd sometimes.
Definitely.
As long as you focus on service, but everybody knocks it out of the park. Top of the River is one of my perennial favorites. They've been open for years and years. But
it's a staple.
They take care of you in service. The food's great. So you get that culture going. And the rest of it kind of follows. So it's already a good opportunity. And you're right. I want to see this become an entrepreneurial hub in Gadsden because we've got great commercial property available at a very reasonable price.
For sure.
So if you're coming here, this environment here is, if you can make a business succeed here, you can easily scale it to other areas because you get volume. Yeah. We're the right size. We're enough where we're a market hub where people come in from other areas.
Right.
But then when you prove that business, then you can scale and expand to other areas.
Sure.
And it's an already proven formula.
Sure.
So that's what I would like to see Gadsden become. A place where you can come here and forge an idea for a small business and succeed.
Yeah, definitely. And that was, I grew up here and we moved around a little bit, but I was here for the majority of my life. I live in Southside now. We lived here for 7 years, and there's something about it. You know what I mean? It's like
it's got it's home. You can go somewhere else. I lived in Atlanta for 3 years during college, and couldn't wait to get back here. And I thought, when I left to go to college, I thought, man, I'm finally getting out of this place, going somewhere good and civilized. After 3 years there, I said, this is too much to take in. I've got to go back home.
Definitely.
And so this is home for me too. So
it's awesome to be able to start something like this in a place like this that's my home and kind of has been for a long time.
You're joining a great community.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been so apparent already. Our the people in Southside and the people in Gadsden, even when we set up at the market, Fifth Street Market on Fridays, which we did a lot last summer.
Yes, you did.
Done a couple. It was so hot.
And at the falls for Christmas at the falls.
Yeah, we've gone through every season here. It's like we set up at the market and it was incredibly hot, and then we set up at the falls and it was incredibly cold
and windy,
and destroyed our tents. That was that day I was defeated that day. I'm not gonna lie. I had just bought those tents for the falls.
Oh man!
So we had these custom made Volt tents, and they had our older branding on it. We rebranded at the beginning of the year to kind of do a little more streamlined look. But we had just bought them. I was pumped about them. We bought them for the falls.
They looked awesome.
They had the side walls. We're going to be able to leave them, and I thought I anchored them down enough, but the wind picked them up and just destroyed them. Took them and threw them so far. And so I went up there and I was pretty disappointed that day. I was like, and it was I think it was the day before Christmas Eve. So we weren't even going to be open that night or for the next couple of days because it closes. And we ended up just borrowing a couple other tents and going back up there the last week and
kept on keeping on.
It ended up being great, and I still use we salvaged one of the tops. One top got ripped apart, but we salvaged one of them, so we still take it around.
Nice.
But
still serving a purpose.
Yeah.
That's common of all of us. We get picked up by the wind and ripped apart, but then we're put back together, and there's still value there. We can still use it.
So good. That's so good. Yeah, it's been a really cool thing. We're excited to be here for sure.
Yeah, because I've come and seen you at the market several times, and it's kind of shady there. It's a nice little setup, but the connection for me, what I enjoy about the farmers markets is that's as close as you can get to locally produced goods. So you see people there growing vegetables they pulled out of the ground with their own hands, things that they've made, custom soaps, honey, the Blue Jug water. He's there all the time at the markets too. Just getting as close as you can to locally made products, because that's really where it's at. We even have local grocery stores, but that's as close as it gets farm to table. I love the farm to table movement. When I was traveling, I ate at one place and didn't really know it just sitting down, but it was in kind of a farm, more of a rural community, but you wouldn't really think of it as being rural. When I sat down at the restaurant, the guy said, "By the way, everything that's on your plate tonight came within 45 miles of where you're sitting." I
love that.
It was great. They really understood that farm to table, and I'm like, we've had this sitting here for 100 years. My great-grandparents ran a farm up in Cherokee County. So seeing all that, we can utilize that. There's value in it, because when you came through COVID and you came through all the supply crisis, it's like, well, people around here have cattle. People around here grow vegetables. People around here do things with their hands that aren't subject to supply crisis. And by supporting those people, because if you go buy food from a grocery store, they're thankful for you being there. If you buy food from a farmer, they know that means they can buy seed to put back in the ground and keep doing what they're doing.
I think it's a thankless job for sure. I was just talking about it with somebody yesterday that they were like, most of the time it's like farming is not like a glamorous job. They do it because they love it. I think it
has to be a love.
That's what sets.
I'm not a gardener.
That's what sets local business aside. Is like somebody can love owning a business But when it's yours and the money is going to put your kids through college or like pay your mortgage or put gas in your car, it's different. Like it just is, it goes beyond just a service industry for me. Like I love doing this, even for the short 2 weeks that we've been doing this so far, because I get to meet with people and show them something that I've been passionate about for so long.
And when they catch on to that and recognize
they catch on to it and they're like, wow, I didn't realize like there was this much that went into coffee. And they'll probably never care as much as I do, but they've invested a small amount into something that I've been passionate about for a long time. And I get to provide a space that they're invested in, and kind of
be part of that community.
Be part of the community, and we have so many plans for, we don't plan to just be open to sell coffee. We want to do events and let people rent the space, and
nice.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of stuff that we have in the works, but we want to slow grow it, right? We don't, we could shotgun blast and be open 7 to 7, and then
when you get home
drive
you're like,
we never want to do it again because it's me and my wife and our few staff who have been incredible so far. But we want to do it methodically and do it in a way that is sustainable and grows. And the soft open for us was a big deal. Like people are waiting for our drive-thru to open, but we want to provide a quality product in the right time. Right. And sometimes quality takes time.
Quality always takes time. I prefer quality over quantity. Somebody told me years ago that if you do something and it's a miserable failure, then you go back and fix it. Right. Especially in business. If it's your business, you're going to go back and fix it because you want that to succeed. Yeah. He said, how much time would you have spent on it the first time, knowing that you would have had to fix it, where you don't have to use that time to go back and fix it, where it just worked the first time. So to me, that's always stuck with me. I think it was a John Wooden quote somewhere in there. I know I butchered it, but but that's kind of the genesis of it. If you spend the time on it in the first, then it comes out really good, and it's really something that you can take pride in. So that's important, especially in business.
Definitely.
Especially in business.
Definitely. I don't think, sometimes you only get one shot, and I hope that this is kind of
that's true.
That we do this the right way the first time. But, I expect to hit some road bumps and, learn from them. It's like, my friend Drew, who started Offbeat Coffee Studio, because I told him, I was like, I don't know anything about running business. Obviously, like I didn't go to business school.
Neither did I.
Neither did he. And he was like, man, if I could just tell you one thing, running a business, owning a business is just about problem solving. What can you do today to solve a problem that you're facing? And if you can do that, you can learn all the other things. And that's
provide value and you solve problems.
Yeah, that's been it with me. Anytime that I have a question, I looked for people like, ZA that owns Burger 101. He's like super helped me with a lot of stuff.
That's a good guy.
Boards, signs. I mean, you learn to lean into the community, and then you give back to the community. Yes. Because they've helped you to get where you are.
That's it.
And I think that this is a really cool space, and I want to be that for people. It's like, thank you so much for investing in my dream. Here's something that we want you to be a part of. We want you to feel. And we've already seen, regulars start to form in relationships with people, and people coming in to study and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So I think that when we get to the grand opening, which we will announce soon, I think we have a date picked out, but we don't want to say anything just yet.
Understand.
When we get to the grand opening, I want it to be a community-wide, hey, we're here.
Hey, we're throwing the doors open. Y'all come help and
we're here.
Have fun.
We want to see you. So for sure.
Because you don't sell just coffee. We've got a pastry here in front of us. So tell us about this and some of the other stuff that you have on the menu.
Yeah, definitely. So my wife, I had no idea she was as good of a baker as she actually is.
Is she as good of a baker as she is a musician?
That's a really hard question because she does both so very well.
She is an amazing musician.
Yeah, definitely. She's just a master of everything, really. It's like people say you can't be a master of everything, and I don't believe them because of my wife. And so she's kind of picked up baking in a way that I never thought that she would ever do, and she has enjoyed it so much. And we started with doing these Pop-Tarts. So it's a homemade Pop-Tart. Yeah. We've adjusted our recipe. We started with more of a pie crust. But now we use a puff pastry dough that's
so much flakier than a Pop-Tart I've ever seen.
It's buttery. She has absolutely killed them, and they've kind of become I don't want to say a cult following because there's terrible connotations to that, but we have people that will come in and buy 10 Pop-Tarts And you're like, man, we only made 24 of them today, so like we're like wiped out before we're even open, really.
Wow.
I think the very first day that we opened, we didn't say anything on a Tuesday morning. We just kind of told our friends and family, and the word was just kind of spreading by mouth.
Yeah.
And within literally, I think 30 minutes, we sold like 17 Pop-Tarts.
Wow.
And yeah, it's funny. So we've expanded off of that.
When you didn't even really originally plan to be open.
Yeah. So we expanded off of that. We do. She has kind of done a lot of different things with scones. We've done savory and sweet scones. So bacon cheddar chive, blueberry scone.
And those are all made in-house.
Yeah, just about everything that we make, that we sell food-wise and drink-wise, with the exception of a few things, right? Because some people do things way better than we ever could. So like our caramel and our mocha syrup, we get from like a specialty coffee syrup place. Super great. Yeah,
because they have those.
Because they have those. Yeah, you never would have thought, but you can get specialty anything. But that and like the bagels themselves we get from out of house. But everything else, like all of our cream cheeses, we actually mix ourselves.
So you go that far to even make your own cream cheese?
We buy regular cream cheese, and then like anything that we like, if we do a chive cream cheese, we do a strawberry cream cheese and honey, we add all of that to it and make it ourselves so that we can make it the right ratio that we want it.
Nice.
We do all of our bacon and eggs and all that for the bagel sandwiches in-house, and all of our teas are made in-house, Piper and Leaf, and chai concentrate from Smith Tea Maker. We do our matcha from Rishi. Just a lot of like really cool products that other people have done that we put our spin on.
Right.
But yeah, baking is really fun. We kind of want to expand our baking program as we go, but we've got about 5 or 6 things that we do very well, or in my eyes, and kind of what other people have told me that we do very well. Pop-Tarts is one of them. Ham and cheese puff. And then we actually, one of my favorite things that we do is a kolache. So I was introduced to a kolache from Buc-ee's.
They're a Texas thing.
Yes. So it was a Polish thing that was sweet.
Yeah.
And then they came to Texas, and Texas obviously they put sausage in them.
Because there's a big, huge community of Eastern Europeans living in Central Texas.
Right. So I obviously everybody knows Buc-ee's.
Oh yeah.
So I had my first kolache at Buc-ee's and I was blown away.
Okay.
And so it was just like, hey, let's try and make these, and my wife just killed it immediately. It's like a dinner roll wrapped around Canucka sausage.
Yes.
Which, if you don't like Canucka, you've never had it.
Oh,
because it's incredible.
Seriously, they're Cajun version.
Oh yeah. And we do one with and without jalapeno. So if you want a little spice to it, we can do a jalapeno one, or we do one with jalapeno. And then a regular with just cheese. So we do a couple of pastries. We're going to add stuff to the menu, and we want to do like acai bowls and salads and grab and go stuff as well. But we're keeping it small for the moment. Like I said, we want to iron out the wrinkles and do a couple of things really, really well, and not just a bunch of things mediocre.
That's solid.
Which I think, luckily most of this stuff I'm hands off. My wife is very hands on. If it was me, it would be very mediocre. Yeah. But I stay in my lane and I do the coffee stuff. And
just look at that. That looks pro.
Yeah, she's killed it. She's killed it. And our staff, they've jumped in and started helping like in ways. It's so strange to be like a boss of someone.
It is.
But they've bought into our dream in a way that you just don't expect anyone to ever do. And I'm so appreciative of our staff so far. So they've been great. They've just picked our dream up and ran with it. And to see someone, especially like a couple of them who we didn't know 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
Now we have like this really cool relationship with them and
their family.
And their family now, yeah.
Because I hear that
first ever staff is, it'll be a special thing for us.
Because I've always heard that small businesses, you don't have employees, you have family members, because it really takes a family to make everything succeed.
Definitely.
So everybody, when they see that buy-in, when they see I'm making this succeed because I do my best at this, and that's beautiful to see too. Yeah,
it's been a really cool process, and even outside of that family, like my family's been incredibly supportive. My grandparents and my parents and aunts and uncles.
I couldn't do this without my family either.
Yeah, it's just it starts with them.
It does.
Like anytime
they're your biggest fans.
You give it to them first, and they're going to tell you that they love it, even though if it's not great, and you're going to just grow with them, and they're going to grow with you. But
you've even got your in-laws bought in. So
definitely. I have a great set of in-laws. I couldn't ask for a better set of in-laws. Me and my wife lucked out. Definitely, we have a special thing family-wise, and even past that, like My granddad, which I know that you knew.
Yes.
He passed away a few years ago, and he was one of my biggest supporters forever. Of anything that I did, he was on board.
He treated me wonderfully.
Yeah.
And as wonderful as he treated me, I can only imagine how he did family.
Right.
Because I didn't really know him that long, but when I first started going to church there, he was one of the first people that just really reached out, and he's like, hey, let's do stuff. Let's meet up for coffee.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm not used to this.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I mean, he was really like one of the most welcoming people I've ever met, and
game for anything.
He just seemed like the community aspect of coffee is just like what he walked around with. Like everywhere was a space for conversation for him. Like
it was.
He wanted to talk to everybody. He wanted to make friends with everybody.
On the side of a stage behind a pair of congas.
Yeah, literally. I mean, literally anywhere and everywhere. He was just that type of person. So he was a big driving factor for this. He championed me on to kind of do what I wanted to kind of see this happen. And so we actually have an exclusive blend that you can only get here in the store.
Right.
It's what we make on our drip coffee. It's our Alfred's blend. Okay. It's named after him, which is a super special thing to me. Nobody else will probably think it's as special as I do, but outside of my family. But it's pretty representative of him. It's bold, it's consistent, it's reliable. You know what you're going to get every single time.
that perfectly describes him.
Yeah, it's just who he was. You could guarantee he would be there if he said he was going to be there.
Oh yeah, man of his word.
Yeah, for sure. So we've kind of roped in a lot of different aspects of family and all that into here. So yeah, it's a cool thing. I'm excited about it. It's unbelievable that it's here. Because I remember even 3 months ago being like, if I could just get to day one,
It's like just hit that milestone.
Yeah, I'm like 7 days in, 8 days in, and I'm just like, I don't even believe it.
Yeah, because probably the last time we run into you at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, or multiple times at the market or at the falls or something, and just 6 months ago, just imagining this being here and having the space, how far you've come in that short period of time.
It's been a fun process.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Very well.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything else that we should know about Volt?
I don't know, man. We got a lot of stuff going on, so just keep watching Facebook, Instagram. We want to be, a part of the community in a big way, which means we're going to keep doing things and expanding, and we'll be at events still and try our best. Want to bring on some other things, coffee trailer,
Oh, nice.
We want to do a lot, so just stay tuned.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody where you're located and what your hours are.
For sure. So we're located at 1328 Highway 77 in Southside. It's about a quarter of a mile over the bridge on the right-hand side. Brand new building. You can't miss it. It's white. We have one of the best looking signs I've ever seen in my entire life. So stop by. We're open right now, Tuesday through Friday from 6:30 to 2:30, and then Saturdays from 8 to 12, and we'll expand the hours. But stay tuned to our Facebook page, and we will absolutely let you know when we expand, when we open our drive-thru, and everything that we'll do will be centralized right there. So thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate you.
All righty.
That'll do.
See you.